What's up, everybody? I'm back, and today we got another video game review. I know it seems like I've been pumping out a lot of video game reviews lately. I actually haven't finished a game recently. This was kind of the last game, other than Punch Out, which Lucas still has not given to me. Shout out to the Myth, give it back. Finally fucking finish it and give it back to me. But no, that's the only other game that I can at least think of that I haven't done in my gaming backlog. But the last one I just did finish was a Lego Batman the video game, and it originally came out. It was released in 2008, so it came out on the Wii, the Xbox 360, probably the PS2. Probably not actually. Probably Xbox 360, the Wii, that kind of stuff. I played it on Steam though, and I used a PlayStation 4 controller. To not emulate, because Steam has their own controller default options and control settings. All I had to do was literally just plug it in via a USB slot. Boom. Problem solved, and I can play Lego Batman. So it was pretty good. But I'm gonna give my full in-depth review of it. All the cool stuff that I saw, some complaints too, and everything. And the game came out in 2008, so it is a earlier gen Lego game. And I remember in the review that I talked about for was it Lego? It was Lego Indiana Jones, which came out I think the same year this game did. I hate that one because it's so bad, and it's so because everybody starts somewhere. This one, though, is an early benchmark gem that they were able to set off. First off, the content in this game is massive. It is absolutely amazing. So the game is split up into a heroes section and also a villain section. So you got 15 levels through 3 different 5-level sets for the heroes, which is just basically Batman and Robin going around and fighting different bosses and stuff through certain puzzles and stuff like you expect from a Lego Batman game. And then you also have 3 sets of 5 levels for the villains, where you mainly go through the Penguin, Riddler, and Joker, I believe. I know Riddler and Joker for sure. I think the Penguin was the other one. And you go through those. And what's cool about that is that they're actually tied together. The 2 sets are tied together because you play through the hero stuff and then you go to the villain stuff and you go through the same levels that you were the hero stuff, but before the heroes get there. And it's really, really cool how they are able to tie those in together, and it really just amplifies how good this game actually is. And I really liked that, and it was really cool to look back after I'd already beaten the levels and said, oh, I played through this. I saw this. I did this. That's cool. You look back on it. It's really awesome. As far as game mechanics and controls go, it wasn't too bad. For the most part, at least, especially in the hero section, I can definitely tell that they put more effort into the hero section than they did the villain section, which is reasonable. I mean, it is called Lego Batman the video game, not heroes, villains, or something like that. It's not that. It's Lego Batman, so of course they're gonna put more emphasis on Batman himself. It's not too big out of the ordinary. I gotta say though, the character variety is amazing. Not just in the villains that you fight, but the villains you can play as. Even while because the main section, there's the first 5 levels of the villain section for the Riddler, but the Riddler always has a sidekick, and the sidekick is always different. Same thing with the Penguin. Penguin's always there, but then the sidekick is always different. And then the Joker, same thing. Sidekick is always different. And so you get to play through all these different villains and characters that have different abilities, and you can go in different places and stuff like that. And it opens up a huge vault of content for the free play mode in this game too, which I didn't even get to. But you can go through and collect all the Lego canisters, and you can go through and collect the red bricks, and you can get more studs for the gold bricks, or I don't even know if there's gold bricks in this game. There might not be. I don't remember. But that just opens up a whole new can of worms for that all sort of stuff too. As far as the heroes, there's just mainly Batman and Robin. Wasn't really anything else, which I guess that's kind of the trade-off. The villains wasn't as well developed, but you get more characters to play as. So kind of just pick which one you like better. Good gameplay, I can't say the villain section was bad gameplay. It was just less developed and less worked on. And it really showed in the end. Really showed near the end of the Penguin section, all throughout the Joker section. The Riddler section was fine, and the beginning of the Penguin section was fine too. But the Joker section was just awful in this. And it's mainly just because of how like accurate some of the jumps and some of the moves need to be. There was definitely some places that you could tell it was definitely an earlier gen Lego game, especially with the lack of dialogue and the lack of really a tutorial for anything outside of like a couple hints here and there throughout the game. Most of them were the same hint though, so that didn't really help. And then there was also the fact that the jumps were stupidly inaccurate, especially in the last couple of levels with Joker. I would be jumping on this like floating rack in the air. It's like hanging off something, and it'd be like this much of a gap. So you think, oh, you can just take a step over it. Nope, he falls right through. So you got to jump, but you jump, and the angle you can never get the angle right because you're always blocked by the structure itself. So you always fall back down and have to restart. There's another section too. I think it was when we go back to the Arctic cave. It's in the Penguin section. And they're trying to get everything refired, and you have to get up both the characters to move on and like activate the thing. And one of the characters, I think this was part with Catwoman, she wouldn't come up. She would not get up. She would get on a platform and get stuck and fall back down. I was on that section forever because of that. And then I think the biggest complaint, though, those were minor complaints, I can at least see, okay, they improved on this. I can still respect it because it's an earlier game. I can still respect the game because of how good the other stuff is, how much innovation they put into it, that kind of thing. But where I draw the line, without a doubt, is the amount of enemies that there are in this game. There's a couple levels where there's even one level on the IGN walkthrough of this game. There's one that says there's a shit ton of enemies. You're going to have to deal with that, and it's going to piss you off. And it wasn't even just that one. There'd be so many times where you would enter a room, and so this especially takes place in the villain section. It doesn't really happen that much in the hero section. Another thing proving my point that they wanted to emphasize the hero section and get that to be the more popular one. They developed it more and also less enemies. But in the villain section, there would be cops that would come out of nowhere, and it was part of the tactic of the game. That was on purpose. They wanted to always have enemies to make it harder to go through this portion of the level, to add more innovation, and also a little bit of a speed tactic too. Make it harder to 100% the game, because then you can't break everything right away. You're always going to be shot. And the cops are bad because the cops are harder than the robbers because they always have guns or sniper rifles, and so they can shoot you from wherever, and they will shoot you, whoever you are playing as, not the other character that you're with, whoever you are playing as. And that other character will try to fight the cops and will try to do stuff, and sometimes it will work. And this happens with Robin too, or Batman. They will try, but they do nothing. They purposely can't do any damage unless you're playing as them. That happens in other Lego games too, so I can't be shitting on this game specifically too much because of that. But it's just something that really got on my nerves. Was just all the enemies just keep spawning out of nowhere. That was just really, really annoying. After like the 15th time it happened, it's like super fucking annoying. Like, we kill all the bosses in a room and the enemies in a room. Can you not spawn 60 more that we have to fight off just to get past this little spot? Like, come on. And they did that in some of the boss battles too. Especially the ones when you're on the water with the ships, they would spawn out like these detectors that would try and blow up some of your armor, like some of your weapons, so that you couldn't use them. And they would spawn. That would be an infinite amount of those. There's only be one of them on the floor at a time. But if you blew that up, then another one would spawn, and you'd again and again and again and again, and they would just keep spawning. And that was pretty annoying as well. The variety of levels as well in this game was a little... You could tell, 30 levels is a lot to make unique, especially for this early gen of a Lego game. For the most part, I thought it was okay. I liked all the puzzles. I liked all the challenges. They really did a good job of trying to incorporate all of making sure you worked as a team, even though you're kind of playing the game alone, which is a little annoying, having to always have one character do one thing and then the other character always had to do the next thing. Sometimes sometimes you would always have to do the task with one character just to get the other character to another spot, and the other character would have to continue. Especially with Joker. Joker was so useless, yet every machine had to be used by Joker. And so when you're with Scarecrow, especially, Scarecrow would have to do all the work, and Joker you'd have to get Joker, who's still stuck way back at the beginning of the level, standing there doing absolutely nothing, and run him all the way back. And then Scarecrow runs back to Joker, and you have to it resets the entire thing. It's happened with Harley Quinn too. At the very end of the game, Harley Quinn would always run after Joker, even though she needed to stay on the pressure point to make sure that Joker could get up onto the platform. And that was just, it gets a little annoying after a while. That's why I recommend taking this game in increments. Do not try and play it all the way through at once or like 2 sessions, because you will get annoyed really quickly, especially with the villain section. Just have to worry about that. But as far as like variety of the levels go, I don't know. I mean, there was a lot of car chase scenes. There was a lot of boat chase ones, and they were, they're fun. And there was a lot of air, like they did boat, air, and road and water. I meant, so I guess you kind of, I guess a little variety there, but they're kind of the same thing and the base point. As far as the other ones go, I mean, they're okay. The boss fights were fun. None of them were really too challenging once you knew what you were doing. And that was really the main challenge of the game, was figuring out what you had to do. And that's, again, the lack of a tutorial. It's kind of an earlier gen game. They kind of fixed that as they've gone on in the years, and so I can at least respect it in that matter. But once you knew what you were doing, it was fun to go through and build stuff. Lego games are always fun, and this one was no exception. But it does stand out for the higher level of content. I don't know if the villain section just counts as bonus levels, and Jeff of the Mellows made me play them anyways. But I don't care. I enjoyed them, so it's pretty cool. Which was awesome. So my final score for Lego Batman, the video game, probably going to have to give it a good... this is a toughie. Probably going to give it a good 8 out of 10. It wasn't my favorite Lego game, but it was far from my least favorite Lego game, and game in general. I really enjoyed this game. It's a lot of content, good time waster, and it's fun to play. So I would recommend giving it a shot if you want to get it on Steam, or you want to get it on Steam, you want to get it on a console, you want to get it on something else, an emulator, I don't fucking know. Go right ahead. It's a great game. 100% recommend it. So that's going to do it for this game review, though, of Lego Batman. If you got any other ideas for games that I should play and then do reviews of, let me know your thoughts about it in the comments section down below. And stay tuned for much more amazing content, including hopefully other video game reviews soon. Myth, Give Me Back, Punch Out, and maybe I'll find some other games to play as well. Much more amazing content as well. So, thank you guys for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys later. Yeah, bye.